Good, good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, city officials. Grace and mercy be unto you, my brothers and sisters. Eternal God, our Father, thou who have been so merciful and yet kind to us, we say thank you. We thank you for last night arising. We thank you for early arising this morning, God. We thank you because you've been so kind to us. Now, dear God, we ask you, God, Lord, to bless this meeting. We ask you, God, Lord, to touch there all city officials, God. We ask you, God, Lord, to even bless our President of the United States of America and his cabinet, dear God. God, we ask you to do these things. We know that you can. We know that you will because you have done it so many times before. So yet, God, we come again just to say thank you and give you thanks for all that you have done, going, and about to do. And we ask all these blessings in the precious, prominent, prodigious name of our Lord and Savior. Amen. Thank God. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, unto God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Pastor. And again, that he is with Mount Zion Baptist Church, 2642 Hawthorne Avenue. If you are looking for a church home, that is one you definitely might want to check out. Yes, sir. 1789. I apologize. I'm reading what is written, but it is 1789 Hawthorne Avenue, and I apologize for that mistake. Thank you. Item 2 on the agenda is agenda changes, and we do have one tonight impacting the consent agenda.
Yes, I would like to make a motion to remove item E 2017-54 to our, from this consent agenda and to table it till our March 6, 2017 meeting.
So moved. All in favor?
Aye. Well,
It's time to vote, actually. Sorry. So we have a, sorry, Ms. Bluestein made the motion. Ms. Wilkinson made the second. All right, so that has passed with 6 yeas, and that is going to be then tabled until March 6th, 2017. For item 3, our mayoral report. This is probably the best night of the year for the mayoral report. And our first item is going to be item A, which is the proclamation and recognition of Georgia Arbor Day. And Mr. Welch, if you would like to read that proclamation.
Thank you. I'll read this. I think Ann's here to accept this, but I'll read it first and step down to present it to her. A proclamation by the mayor and the city of Smyrna for Georgia Arbor Day. Whereas the first Arbor Day was celebrated in 1872 in Nebraska as a special day for planting trees and has grown to thousands of celebrations in communities across our nation each year. And whereas community partners, families, and friends will be joined together at local Arbor Day celebrations to recognize the benefits of trees and urban forests. And whereas trees reduce the erosion of precious topsoil, cut heating and cooling costs, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for humanity. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving up paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business area, and beautify our community. And whereas all of Georgia benefits from forestry, which contributes billions of dollars annually to our state's economy and provides employment for more than 100,000 people. Now, therefore, I, A. Max Bacon, Mayor of the City of Smyrna, Georgia, do hereby proclaim February 17, 2017 as Arbor Day in Georgia and encourage our citizens to plant trees, thus leaving a legacy for present and future generations. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal for the City of Smyrna to be affixed upon this 6th day of February in the year of our Lord 2017. A. Max Bacon.
Yes, Anne, if you would like to say a
Thank,
few words. Thank you.
thank you very much. I'm the director of Keep Smyrna Beautiful, and Keep Smyrna Beautiful and the Smyrna Tree Board would like to invite everyone to an Arbor Day celebration at Bronner Hall on Saturday, February the 18th from 10 until 1. We will have our Georgia urban forester, Joe Burgess, giving a class on tree care and planting, and we will be planting a tree on the Bronner Hall property to replace one of the trees that has died. So there will be activities for children, and there will also be lunch. So if you would like to come to this free family event, please call our office at 770-431-2863 and just register so we'll know about how much food to have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our next item, 3B, is our proclamation and recognition of Black History Month, and Ms. Bluestein will read that proclamation tonight.
Yes, and could I invite Reverend Bush and also Miss Betty and Miss Lisa to come forward and to hear the proclamation, and then I will give the proclamation to Reverend Bush at the end. This is our usual tradition, isn't it? Okay, a proclamation by the mayor of the city of Smyrna in recognition of Black History Month. Whereas each year during Black History Month, the city of Smyrna explores the history and culture of African Americans, discovering stories of bravery and triumph. And whereas Black History Month for 2017 focuses on the crucial role of education in African American history, and whereas Smyrna celebrates and commemorates the efforts of African American individuals and groups to create institutions and conditions that help their communities not just to progress but to thrive. And whereas among the numerous African American milestones and achievements we should honor are as follows: the Atlanta University Center, AUC, which includes Clark Atlanta University, Spelman College, Morehouse College, and the Morehouse School of Medicine, is the largest concentration of historically African American colleges in America. Number two, the National Association for the Achievement of Colored People won a landmark victory in January of 1961 when U.S. District Court Judge William Boodle ordered the admission of Hamilton Holmes and Charlene Hunter to the University of Georgia. Number three, on Wednesday, August 30th, 1961, 9 African American students, Thomas Welch, Madeline Nix, Willie Jean Black, Donita Gaines, Arthur Simons, Lawrence Jefferson, Mary James McMullen, Martha Ann Holmes, and Rosalind Walton integrated 4 Atlanta public high schools, and whereas these poignant historical events, exemplary leaders, and steps towards societal changes are imperative for the greater understanding of national and world history now. Therefore, I, Amax Bacon, Mayor of the City of Smyrna, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2017 to be Black History Month, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Smyrna to be affixed upon the 6th day of February in the year of our Lord 2017. Mayor Max Bacon.
And Pastor Bush and Lisa and Betty, if y'all would like to say anything, you are welcome to.
I would like to just say thank you. Thank you very much.
On behalf of Mount Zion First Baptist Church and my chairman, Deacon Alvin Bedford, in his presence, we just want to say thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, and thank you for everything you do in the community. And now I would like to invite the spiritual heirs to come up to the front. And first, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves, the spiritual heirs have been active in Smyrna and in the Atlanta area for decades. They have performed, they have passed their tradition down among generations of Bedfords and Blunts and others in the community, and I look forward to this every year.
I'm happy to see their future leader back, too.
Yes.
What the world may do,
all you got to do is
trust in Jesus.
everything.
Everything you do,
God is able
God is able
just to carry.
just to carry you through.
God is able
God is able
just to carry.
just to carry you through.
Makes no difference
It makes no difference
what the world.
what the world may do.
All you got to do is
Trust in Jesus.
everything.
Everything you do,
God is able
God is able
just to carry
you through.
trouble in my way.
Trouble in my way,
I have to cry
I
sometimes.
have to cry
So
sometimes.
much trouble.
Trouble in my way,
I have to cry.
I have to cry
A
sometimes.
little at night.
I lay awake at night.
I laid awake,
I lay awake at night.
but that's alright.
That's alright.
I know Jesus
Jesus, He will fix it.
fix it in the morning.
Jesus, He will fix it.
Fix it in the evening.
Jesus, He will fix it.
Fix it in the midnight hour.
Jesus, He will fix it.
Jesus will fix it.
Jesus, He will fix it. Jesus, He will fix it.
After a while.
After a while. All the way, all the way, all the way, yeah, all the way. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way, all the way. and by. By and by, yeah. By and by. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. Listen right here. Well, I once was lost in sin. But my Jesus, he took me on in. You know what it is. He shined a light from heaven on my soul. Yes, he did. When he filled my heart with love, 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 then wrote my name above. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. Well, I once was lost in sin, but my Jesus, he took me on in. You know what it is. Yes. He shined a light from heaven on my soul. Yes, he did. Oh, he healed my heart. Love, love, love. He wrote my name above. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. All the way, yeah. All the way. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna walk. I make it over. Sometimes stumbling. I'm gonna walk. Sometimes falling. I'm gonna walk. Sometimes can't see. I'm gonna walk. My way clear. I'm gonna walk. But I made it. I'm gonna walk. Reason why I made it. I'm gonna walk. I got my hand. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk. Don't let nothing. I'm gonna walk. Turn me around. I'm gonna walk. Don't let nothing. I'm gonna walk. Turn me around. Listen. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna walk and talk with Jesus all the way. All the way.
Thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Again, that was the Spiritual Airs. They have been singing here in Smyrna for nearly 60 years. It'll be 60 years this August. Thank you. Now I'd like to, actually, before we move into department head reports, I wanted to recognize, I see a Boy Scout in the audience. It looks like you're a Webelow, and I'm guessing you're probably here for a citizenship badge. If you are, thank you for being here tonight.
Welcome, Elliot.
Now, moving on to department head reports. Our first report tonight is going to be Jennifer Bennett with Community Relations.
Good evening, and that has to be the hardest act to follow ever. Thank you. Quarterly report, Community Relations. I'm Jennifer Bennett, the Community Relations Director for the City of Smyrna. One of the things that we do in Community Relations is all of the large events that you attend throughout the year, and that event season starts in April. First up is the Jonquil City Jog and the Jonquil Festival. Where we are with the Jonquil City Jog is we are accepting sponsorships. We're offering sponsorship proposals and securing those. We'll be announcing registration period very soon. And this event raises money for the Campbell High School Educational Foundation, which is education in your community. Your event calendar should be coming to you this spring, very latest April. It's usually in the April mailing. Some dates that we want you to save. Food Truck Tuesday begins May 2nd and runs through September 26th. But please note that Tuesday, July 4th is a city holiday, so unfortunately we won't have one on that day. Fresh Produce Market, which is a Keep Smyrna Beautiful series, starts Saturday, September 6th and May 6th and runs through September 30th. The Arthur Bacon Golf Tournament is May 6th and May 7th. That's out of the mayor's office. The garden tour for Keep Smyrna Beautiful is May 20th. And of course, the first concert is June 10th, second is July 15th, and the birthday celebration is August 5th. We've got all of the links for social media where you can find these events, but SmyrnaCity.com is your city website. You should find them rolling up on the homepage really soon. This page is to give you an idea of how much involvement community relations has working with community development on citizen engagement with things like the 3 big studies that they have going. One you'll hear about tonight, the Spring Road Corridor Study and the South Cobb Drive Corridor Study. We developed some really good citizen involvement numbers out of this, and most remarkable are the online or the survey representations we saw. For the Spring Road Corridor, we had 659 surveys filled out, which, as I understand it, kind of a record in the metro area. Breaking the numbers out for you a little bit, we thank you for getting involved with us at the Jonquil Festival. The first meeting also generated 60 participants, and there's your community survey number of 659. Design workshops, and the second meeting you had 75 plus participants. South Cobb Drive study, that one's not over. You have an opportunity to get those survey numbers up. It's right now about 281. The survey is open until February 24th. And I'm going to show you in a minute how to get to those surveys. You've got a meeting also coming up tomorrow. You should have seen these on the digital billboard. You'll see them on the city website and on social media. But this is the next or the last meeting covering the draft concept alternatives. It's from 5 to 8 at the Wolf Center. To find these surveys and to find the information online, the websites, go to SmyrnaCity.com and you're looking for the Your Government section, and we have a corridor studies/development surveys. We list them there and link to the special websites for each survey. Each study and each survey. We increased advertising for your events in your community in September with a pretty aggressive line of advertising featuring not only events but lifestyle and backing up some of the economic development drive that we have in the city. And the first 3 months resulted in 1,694,461 impressions. And you'll see here on the screen a few of the ads that you might have seen in various on websites and information sources. We use geo-targeting and behavioral targeting for these to capture the buys for these ads. We generated 2,394 new visitors to the city website through this advertising campaign and increased event attendance, which means more visitation and emotional connection to your community. Social media highlights. We're going to hit some highlights for you because everyone is interested in the Braves and what's happening with that. We're seeing quite a bit of interest online and some local ads in AJC, not ads, but stories in AJC, and you'll see more about the corridor developments along Spring Road coming up with them. Probably the most remarkable thing that we had happen for you online this year was the Publix grand opening. With a city of about 55,000 people, we had 58,029 people on just a single 30-second video of the Publix opening in the downtown, generating 23,000 video views. So when you really want something, you hit it pretty hard. And I think that's where we're seeing those good numbers with survey involvement with our studies. We want you to continue doing that. That gets the word out about your community, but it also helps us hear what you really want. And we're going to keep offering those and pushing them at you quite a bit. One surprise we had this year was a quick mention in December about Harry Potter. That one at the library generated numbers really, really fast. We finally had to take it down because it kept getting too much attention. I'm going to give a shout out now to the Smyrna Arts and Cultural Council. If you are an artist or a musician in the community, you need to know about these opportunities that they're working with Keep Smyrna Beautiful on, and they're working with us on the Spring and the Fall Jonquil Festival. For the Spring Jonquil Festival, SAC is looking for artists for the featured artist area, working in painting, sculpture, photography, and pottery. The email address is probably the easiest for you to remember. It's saccjonquil@gmail.com. And for the artists, the musicians, for the market for Keep Smyrna Beautiful, there's a different email address, and that's smyrnaacc@gmail.com. I don't have the exact, sorry about this, I didn't list their website address. But if you're on social media, go ahead and search for them. You'll find Smyrna Arts and Cultural Council, both opportunities, but you'll also find it on our social media. The department's down in staffing. We have a vacancy. The community relations assistant is vacant, and we're currently interviewing for that position. So that might explain why you haven't seen some of the things that you usually see in February, like last year's new publication. We're just a little bit behind, and we thank you for your patience. Find us smyrnacity.com, facebook.com, City of Smyrna, Georgia, and on Twitter it's Smyrna News. Any questions?
No, I still am astonished by the numbers on the Publix opening post, because that is truly remarkable. And I imagine Publix greatly appreciates it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have our Fire Chief, Roy Acree.
Good evening, everybody. Glad to be here. Wasn't sure I was going to make it after last night's devastating loss of our Super Bowl. I can't believe it. Anyway, we'll try to move on. You know, it's an exciting time for the fire department, for all of us here in the city of Smyrna, but interestingly enough, you may or may not know that this year marks the 118th year of existence for the city of Smyrna Fire Department. Just a little bit of interesting information. Our 2016 annual report will be out within the next 2 weeks, so that'll be available as a PDF link on our webpage, free to anybody that would like to see that. But just some interesting highlights from that report, some things that we learned when we look back at all of calendar year 2016. Excuse me. We had over 12,000 total requests for service. Our administrative staff continues to work hard to ensure that we continue our tradition of providing excellent service to the city and the citizens of Smyrna. Our fire prevention office is really busy, continuing to work with developers and architects to ensure national, state, and local building codes are enforced. And I just continue to be impressed by the dedication and hard work by the men and women that wear the City of Smyrna uniform. I'm so very, very proud of our entire staff. I think, just in case you hadn't heard, the City of Smyrna will either install your car seat for you or check one that's installed to ensure it's installed correctly. And we do that free of charge. And we do that through a partnership with an organization called Safe Kids Cop. Well, I mention that because we are happy to say that we're increasing that collaboration with Safe Kids Cop, because the safe installation of car seats is not the only thing that they do. They also have a lot of information that they can provide to local jurisdictions through this increased collaboration and partnership, and those things center around home safety. So I'm proud to say that the fire department and the police department continue to work together to formulate plans so that we can host some type of home safety event or a series of home safety classes that we can offer for free to the public. And because of the partnership with Cobb Safe or with Safe Kids Cobb, we'll be able to also provide them with some free takeaways, some home safety things that are essential to the home, especially if you have small kids in the home. So we're getting really excited about that. Now, and I'll finish up with this, I'm not going to pass up an opportunity to speak before our viewing audience without mentioning some type of severe weather awareness. And we're only 1 month into 2017, and I'm sure we're all familiar that within January alone, we've seen throughout our region pretty significant ice storms. We've seen severe thunderstorms and some devastating tornadoes just south of us. So fittingly enough, this month throughout the nation is Severe Weather Preparedness Month. And I just wanted to mention, I didn't want to talk about any facts, but I encourage everybody listening to take some time out this week during Severe Weather Preparedness Month and just do a web search on severe weather preparedness. There's a lot of great information out there. Ready.gov is a go-to website for information. But take 5 minutes and make a plan with your family while you're home and just kind of ask the question, where would we go, what would we do in the event that severe weather was a threat to us tonight? And that's all I had.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the update on Safe Kids also. The thing to remember is that the people at Babies R Us are good at selling car seats. They're not great at installing car seats.
Exactly, and you'd be surprised to know that through that Safe Kids Cobb, they provide the training for, there's actually a thing called a car safety seat technician.
Yes, there is.
It's a 40-hour class that our staff goes through to be able to do that.
Yep. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Kay Bullock, who is going to give us a report on human resources.
Mine is going to be hopefully fairly quick for us. Is it coming up? It's not coming up on this. There we go. All right, I just want to recap a few things from 2016. Something I thought was very outstanding for us because of our tenured people. We had a total of 19 retirements during 2016. The average service was 22 years. Our longest serving was 40 years. And we've had, just this year, we've had one retirement year to date, and he had 37 years with us, and that was Mark Brew, who is our fleet services supervisor. And also in year to date so far in 2017, we have recognized several people for their 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-year services. We've had one at 25, one at 20, one at 15, 5 at 10, and 4 at 5 years. So we've got quite a few people that are reaching wonderful milestones with us. During 2016, I wanted to go over just some brief highlights. We had, of new hires, we had 67 new hires, and that's full-time, and 38 that were part-time or seasonal. Out of that, we had actually over 3,800 applications received. Those were people who actually filled out a complete application online for an open position. Something I didn't list on here is we had an additional 3,200 who registered on our website for future openings. So we had well over 6,000 hits on our online website last year. That's pretty good for us. And all those postings, we had 109 postings. Now, a little bit of that may look very large, but some of those were repostings where we would put it out for 2 or 3 weeks, may not have found the exact candidate, and then reposted it. So there's a few duplications in there, but we did have that many different postings. Currently, we have 32 full-time positions open. They range in a variety of positions: clerical, firefighters, detention, police officers. What I would like to recommend, instead of going down this list, is you can always go to our website, to thesmyrnacity.com, and click on employment opportunities. Go out there regularly to see what we have as positions that are open. It's real easy to go out and check those. You can click on a position and apply right there from the comfort of your home. Or if you don't have a computer at home, come on into the HR department. We have a kiosk. We'll help you load your resume on, and then you can sit there and finish out the application. So keep your eye on our website for any openings that we have come up, because they do come up periodically, and there might be the right position for you waiting out there for you now. Thank you.
Thank you. And last tonight we have Mary Moore, who is the director of the Smyrna Public Library.
Hi, good evening. I'm Mary Moore, the director of Smyrna Public Library. And briefly, I wanted to give you just a tiny overview of the level of activity we've got going on at the library. As you can see, we had about 288,000 checkouts last year. That's a combination of both print materials as well as digital materials. And that was about a 99.5% increase over the year before, which is a really nice bump. That's excellent increase. Very happy with that. What's interesting to me, though, is that we're continuing to see more and more interest in our digital services. As you can see, in 2015, 7% of our overall circulation was digital, and in 2016, it was 10. Partly because we keep talking to our customers about what we have available. We do have a lot of digital sources, not just ebooks, but e-audio, downloadable movies, music, comic books, magazines. So we have a wide range of digital resources. But I do want to say, when I was looking at the numbers, it's not just that people converting from checking out print materials to digital. Both types of materials are on the increase. So if you just look at the children's physical collections alone, there was an 11% increase in use of those materials. So people are not checking out digital instead of print, they're checking out both, which we love. But the problem with the digital is that it is a little bit harder for us to market. It's no secret that libraries have books. I mean, that's not a hard brand to promote. People walk in, they see them all around them, and plus we do lots of displays, so if we want to highlight specific titles. What's harder, digital resources to promote, is they're kind of invisible. You have to know where to look and how to look. So one thing that we're trying out this year is a email marketing campaign where once a month we're going to send an email to our users to promote a specific resource that we have. And in January we chose lynda.com because that's a time of year where people make New Year's resolutions, maybe to improve their professional skills. And lynda.com is an online resource that's perfect for that. So we did an email campaign, and we did some displays in the library about Lynda, and we saw a 286% increase in usage of Lynda for the month of January over the previous January. So we were like, bazinga, we did a great job. So this month we're promoting Mango Languages, which is our foreign language learning tool. So hopefully we'll have as good a response for that. As we noted before this evening, this is African American History Month, and the library always likes to highlight some of the resources that we have in the library if you want to learn more about African American history. So we're having a couple of events to highlight some of these resources. Tonight we launched our film club, which was part 1 of the American Experience, Freedom Riders. Next week we'll have part 2, and the participants will stay and have a discussion afterwards. And then later in the month, we're having a brown bag book discussion of Hidden Figures, which is a very popular film right now, but maybe not all people are aware that it's actually a book. We have the book, we have the junior edition of the book, and we have the audio book. So if you've read it, listened to it, or seen the movie, come join us for your lunch hour on Friday, February 17. Just bring a sack lunch. We'll provide dessert and drinks, and we'll have a nice discussion. If you are coming, we'd love it if you'd send us an email just so that we know how many people are coming. We buy the right number of desserts. If you would like to meet a New York Times bestselling author, you're in luck. Sisters in Crime Atlanta chapter, which meets monthly at Smyrna Public Library, is bringing in Hank Phillippe Ryan, who writes a very popular series of thrillers. She'll be the premier author that day at Bronner Hall. That's going to be a hopping place. If you'll notice, the other event there, Keep Smyrna Beautiful, is doing a great family event, but we've also got an author luncheon, so maybe you can do both. I don't know, but it'll be a great place to be. You can buy your tickets online at syncatlanta.com for $19. That gets you in the door, lunch. I think they're going to have some giveaways. You get to meet a New York Times bestselling author, as well as mingle with a lot of local authors in the Sisters in Crime chapter. This is the first time we've done a partnership with them like this, so we're hoping to have a really good turnout, so they'll want to do it again. We're also having a digital day of learning. This is a technology class for adult learners. The instruction is being led by Blue Hair Technology, and it is underwritten, but she got it. It's underwritten by the Friends of Smyrna Library, so we thank them for underwriting the cost of the instruction. There are 2 classes, Drop Your Cable and Still Watch TV, that's about those online streaming services, and then How to Bank Online securely and safely. So if you want to come to either one or both of these classes free of charge, please do so by RSVPing sreference at smyrnaga.gov. Space is limited in the class, so we really need you to tell us which one you're coming to, or both. That's just a smattering of some of the events we've got going on in February. Those were adult events, but of course we have teen, tween, children's, baby events, and sometimes pop-up events. So you never know what's going on at the library. So keep in touch with us by joining our newsletters or keeping in touch with us on social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that report. Thank you to all the department heads who came tonight and made sure we were updated on everything happening in the community. The next item is 5, which is land issues, zonings, and annexations, and we have 2 items tonight. The first, item A, is in Ward 3, so Mr. Fennell is going to handle that for me tonight, and Rusty Martin is here first we'll hear from Mr. Jones, the city administrator, and then Rusty will give us some more information about this item.
Madam Mayor, we've sent certified letters to Cobb County Clerk's office and the Cobb Community Development Office requesting annexation of this property. And the city received an email on January 24th with a copy of a non-objection letter from Cobb stating there was no objection to our annexation. And this property is part of an unincorporated island that's been actively annexed property by property over the last several months. And Rusty has the specifics on this particular one.
All right. Yeah, this is a very simple request. They are R20 in Cobb County. They're requesting to remain the same zoning district in Smyrna. So there's not a zoning change. They're just applying to be in the city. I believe the applicant is planning to tear down the existing house and build a new house, and it's a very simple request. It's up there. Oh, increase it a little bit. It is enclosing an unincorporated island, so it's trying to help with service delivery.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Does anyone have any questions or any discussion about this item? All right.
If not, Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the item described as 2017-51, approval of ordinance 2704 for the annexation of all tract and parcel of land lying and being in land lot 519, 17th District, 2nd Section, Cobb County, Georgia, for a total of 0.47 acre tract located at 1294 Pierce Avenue, Smyrna, Georgia, into Ward 3.
Second.
Thank you. So we have a second with Mr. Welch, and everyone like to go ahead and vote on item 6A. All right, that is approved unanimously. Thank you very much, and welcome to Ward 3. The next item, 5B, is a public hearing. This is for the City of Smyrna Comprehensive Plan kickoff hearing. So, Mr. Jones, if you'd like to give us a little bit of the background on this item.
I'll defer most of this to our Community Development Director. Ken Sudworth is here with us tonight and talk to us about the comp plan. This is basically it's a 10-year, so this is not an update. This is a renewal.
Yeah, and if I could give you a personal note, we did this the first year I was here, and I was one of the 10 that was listed by Kay up there. So yeah, 10 years has gone by, and I'm back in front of you again to update our comprehensive plan. So,
Sunrise, sunset?
well, I hope it's not a sunset. But it's with pleasure to bring up our partners in doing this, our consultants, Jacobs and their sub-consultant, Market Street, with that. But we are required from the state to do these updates at a minimum of every 10 years. This year we're calling it Guide Smyrna on that. So again, we've already gotten a little bit of publicity through Jennifer on all of that, but this is our grand kickoff hearing, which is one of our required steps. And with that, I'll turn it over to Amanda.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, council members. Delighted to be here. As Ken said, I'm Amanda Hatton. I'm the project manager with Jacobs, which is leading your comprehensive plan update. Tonight really is, as Ken said, a formal kickoff to let the public know, hey, we're starting this process. We want you engaged. This is how we expect it to go. This is when to get involved. Joining me here tonight, if I can get us to move forward. Oh, there we go. Okay. Joining me here tonight are two of the other leaders on our team. I've got Jim Summerbell, he's our technical lead for the project, my co-worker at Jacobs, as well as Kathy Young, senior advisor to the project with Market Street Services. Market Street is a strategic partner of ours. They've worked with us on a few other comp plans, and of course they did your 2014 vision plan process. So we're excited about the continuity that we'll be able to bring forward. We just have a really brief presentation tonight. We want to highlight the process, what important dates, some of the content that will come out of it, and then certainly open up for questions at the end. So a little bit, of course, Guide Smyrna is how the update is being branded. This is your 10-year update to your comprehensive plan. It is a requirement of the Georgia Department of Community Affairs in order to maintain eligibility for certain grant programs and funding streams, as well as permitting processes. It is focused on future land use, future development and growth, but we will be looking at some other areas. Jim will talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. One of our key goals and one of the key things that your community development department has directed us to do is make sure that we're folding in other planning initiatives that you have underway, the Spring Road Corridor or LCI study, the South Cobb Drive study, as well as other planning efforts that have been done at a county level or have importance to your future growth and development. In terms of the process, and we got started, kicked off with your community development department in December, and we've mostly been looking at existing conditions. We're really now starting to enter into the heart of the planning process, where we'll be working with your community members over the next few months to really take a hard look at your current comprehensive plan, future land use element. Where does it need update? Where does it need to better capture our vision, or is that already on par? And building from that, what are our priorities moving forward? So we'll be focused on building the plan and updating it February roughly through May, and then we'll come out to the public in June with a draft of the plan at an open house. And of course, for those of you who have been around for a previous comprehensive plan, you know there's a little bit of a lengthy review process at the end. We'll be looking for you all to transmit it to the region and state for review in July, and then it'll get reviewed by the region and state, and then come back hopefully for your adoption in October, which is the city's deadline for adoption. One thing we do want to emphasize to your community members, this is a very community-driven process. It should reflect the community's goals and vision for future growth and development. So we're spending a lot of time making sure we're hearing from the diverse voices of the Smyrna community. And we do have a steering committee guiding the process, and that we're meeting with 4 times throughout the process. And of course, we have a series of public events and meetings for people to come out and participate to make sure that they have an opportunity for input. Briefly going to highlight just the series of events that will be going on. Beginning this month on the 16th, we have the first public workshop that will be taking place. That is at Bronner Hall. We're also kicking off a community survey. Hopefully we can top some of those numbers that Jennifer gave you earlier for some of your other plans. And then we have a second public workshop in March. When we move into April, we'll be at your John Cole Festival. We know it's been successful in the past in engaging people on the spot in your planning processes, so we'll be out there for that. And then, as I said, in June, we'll be back at a public meeting to present the recommendations of the plan before we go into the public hearing process, and again, looking for action by you all in October to have the plan adopted. With that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Jim Somerville to talk a little bit more about the substance of the plan.
Thanks, Amanda.
Okay, thank you, Anna. How do we, want to see, drop down? Let's start talking, okay. Well, the main point of our document is to focus upon three main elements, and that is it's still not coming up, hold on here. Well, that's not it, though. Wanted to go too far.
That's all right.
There we are. Oh, go back. There we go. Okay. All right. Our primary goal is to come up with a document that's user-friendly, concise, and most importantly, implementable for the city. And it's going to be structured around three main elements, and that is the community goals, priorities, and actions. The goals will include a vision statement, which of course we'll try to incorporate the vision plan of 2014, as well as the sort of geographic representation of that vision, which is the future land use map, which is very important to guiding rezoning decisions. We'll also focus on priorities, which we'll develop through an iterative process with the public, with the guides from the steering committee, and try to identify the needs and opportunities that will help guide us toward that vision. And then finally come up with a 5-year action plan that will address all of those needs and opportunities. The major plan elements that we'll be looking at, as Amanda alluded to earlier, include not only land use, but housing, transportation, and economic development. We've already prepared a baseline conditions report, which will be available on the project website in the coming weeks. We invite everyone to look at that. And of course, we've looked at current conditions, future plans for each of these areas, as well as some of the statistics. So it's a good basis or foundation for doing our work coming up. Of course, we're trying to build off of the vision plan and the wonderful work that Market Street's done. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Kathy to talk about that.
Thank you, Jim, and nice to see everyone. We're happy to be back, and we're looking forward to this process and being able to work with you all again. Our role on this team is to kind of help make sure that we have that continuity that Amanda mentioned. We did, it's been 3 years since the vision planning process, and so we've been keeping up with what's going on, kind of us taking a step back, letting the community really embrace this and begin to implement it, but staying in close communication with the staff here, with some of the volunteers even. Kelsey and I have just had an update recently, so trying to kind of continue to help with that in terms of both implementation, but also making sure that we're not letting things slip through the cracks in terms of this. Other connections that, of course, have been mentioned is making sure that the last comprehensive plan is connected to this as well as some of the other planning efforts that have been mentioned in terms of the ongoing processes. We want to make sure that we're looking at some of the trends as well. There's already changes, of course, even in the last 3 years, and we're beginning to pick up, even though there's a data lag in some cases, but beginning to see some of the impact to a certain extent. What is the Brave Stadium and some of the other kind of halo effect? How can we kind of pick up on that and apply it to this process in particular? Rusty, I'm going to ask you because there's going to be a website here. So just to kind of circle back to what we're hoping to get in terms of engagement, this is very heavy on public engagement. It's really important. We really do want to blow the doors off of the numbers, both from the vision process and from all the other surveys, because this is a comprehensive effort. So we're going to encourage everyone to check out that website. It's lovely. Some communications have gone out. It's very clear, easy to use, and there'll be a link for the survey when it's ready to go as well. So if there are any questions about our team, the process in general, we're happy to answer those at this time.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Well, and Jim also. And I think Ken would like to say something.
Just to wrap it up is that one of the earlier slides that Amanda had showed her team, I also wanted to publicly thank Rusty, who was our senior planner on staff, but he has taken this and has guided us to this point so that if you all have any specific questions or the public, chances are it's going to be routed to Rusty, so you'll see his name associated with this process a great deal in the coming months.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Rusty. And thank you, Jennifer Bennett, as well, for everything you're doing from the community relations aspect of this.
Now, the other part was I've already mentioned Jennifer because of all the community relations aspect, and Kelsey was referenced to. Obviously, she's carrying over the vision end of that. And again, when we were doing the vision, I kept emphasizing that the vision is not a land use plan. Tonight, I'm going to say the comprehensive plan is a land use plan, but we are rolling in the vision to make sure that all of the work that we've done is not forgotten.
Thank you. And that's actually a great segue, because this is a public hearing. And if anyone here in the audience, if you would like to come forward, if you have anything you would like to say regarding the comprehensive plan that we've been talking about tonight, please come up. You can be sworn in, and we would love to hear what you have to say. And if there isn't anyone, I will. Oh, Rusty, yes.
Oh, no, I was just
Oh, all right. You can do that. Okay, if no one has anything that they would like to add at the hearing tonight about the public hearing, I'll go ahead and declare the hearing closed. We will move on to item 6, which is privilege licenses, and there are none tonight. Item 7 is formal business. 7A is authorizing the acquisition of real property, and I will let Mr. Jones give the background on that.
Madam Mayor, I'll read this. I need to read the background and then cite. There are 9 parcels associated with that, and I'll read each one of those addresses individually. The background is to authorize the acquisition of real property by all lawful means for improvements to Windy Hill Road. This authorization includes adopting a resolution and declaration of taking, if necessary, for parcels that are not purchased through negotiated sale. The following parcels are authorized to be acquired through such declaration of taking, and either the mayor or mayor pro tem are authorized to execute such documents and all other documents incident to these acquisitions. The property is situated adjacent to the existing right-of-way and within an area stretching from its intersection with Atlanta Road to its intersection with South Cobb Drive, and are identified as follows: 555 Windy Hill, parcel number 45. 659 Windy Hill, parcel number 35. 669 Windy Hill, parcel number 34. 725 Windy Hill, parcel 29. 735 Windy Hill, parcel 28. 765 Windy Hill, parcel 24. And there is one on Windy Hill with no street address, but is labeled, it's a vacant lot, parcel number 23. 2390 Beaver Creek, parcel 22. And 969 Windy Hill, parcel number 11.
Madam Mayor, due to a conflict of interest, I'm going to need to abstain from this vote.
Absolutely. Thank you, Corky. Is there any further discussion on this item? Ms. Wilkinson?
So I just want to say that I am in favor of this project on Windy Hill, but at this time, I'm not comfortable voting for this because of the agreement that we are lacking a signed agreement with the county on their part, and so I'm just not comfortable at this time. Thank you.
And I'd actually like to add that that is true, that we do not have the final signed agreement with the county. That said, here as a city council, we have voted on to support this project as part of the SPLOST Digest. The Board of Commissioners did the same thing. The citizens of Cobb County voted in favor of this SPLOST, and thereby all of the SPLOST projects, including this one, as part of the SPLOST vote that was taken several years ago to approve the 2016 SPLOST. We have a memorandum of understanding that is signed with the county to approve this project going forward, so there's no reason for anyone to think that this is not a project that is going to happen. Is there any further discussion? Yeah. We do actually, we have a motion and we have a second. We have.
I haven't made the motion yet, but I'm happy to do so. Madam Mayor, I move on item number 2017-61 to authorize the acquisition of real property by all lawful means for improvements to Windy Hill. This authorization includes adopting a resolution and declaration of taking for each of the 9 parcels specified. I make that motion.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. At this time, everyone would like to vote? Has everyone voted? With Mr. Welch is recused. All right, the motion has passed. There are 4 yeas and 1 nay. With Ms. Wilkinson is the nay, and Mr. Welch is abstained, or recused, excuse me. All right, the next item is 7B, and I will ask Mr. Jones to give the background on that item.
Madam Mayor, the provisions of Code Section 66-9.1 have come into focus recently incident to a case. And while it appears no one has been cited for violating this ordinance, certain provisions of the ordinance should be immediately repealed, and the enforcement of the provisions of 66-9.1, as well as Code Section 66-9, should be suspended to allow legal review and consideration by the mayor and council.
Is there any further discussion of this item? Right. Actually, no, this is not a public hearing, but there is time for citizens' input at the close of the meeting.
As a message for me, I ask that be made a part of the record.
Mr. Cochran, do you have that? Can that be part of the record? Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, just one thing. Make sure that everybody knows what the vote is about. This has to do with the ordinance that regulates handbills. And so what's being done today is that 2 provisions of the ordinance are being repealed, and the remaining part of the ordinance is the enforcement is being suspended to allow for review. This is because of a lawsuit that's come up. This came to our attention through the lawsuit where the city's been sued over this ordinance, and so that brought life to it. And so I know we've got numbers here, so I want to make sure that it was clear what was happening.
Do we have a motion to approve this item?
I'll move to approve item 7B, ordinance 2017-05, to repeal sections 66-9.1E and 66-9.1G of the Smyrna Code of Ordinances and suspend all enforcement of the remaining provisions of section 66-9.1 and section 66-9 for a period of 6 months to allow legal review and consideration by the mayor and council.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, please vote. All right, the item is passed 6-0. Moving on to item 8, which is commercial building permits. We have none tonight. Item 9 is consent agenda, and noted earlier in agenda changes, we have removed, we have tabled item E until March 6th. So I need a motion to approve then items.
Approval of the consent agenda.
Yes, and that'll be items A through D and F through G. All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, items A through D and F through G. Please vote. All right, that has passed. The consent agenda has passed 6-0, and that is items A through D, F through G. Item E has been, which is to approve the HR classification, has been tabled until March 6th. Next on the agenda, we have committee reports, and I will start with Mr. Norton.
Thank you. No report this evening.
I have no report this evening. I'm sorry.
That's fine. Mr. Welch?
I have no report this evening.
Ms. Wilkinson?
Yes, I would like to remind everyone about the South Cobb Drive Corridor Study meeting tomorrow night at the Wolf Center. The people doing the study have 4 different concepts to present to the public, and to get have an opportunity to provide input for those concepts. So the meeting is at the Wolf Adult Recreation Center at 884 Church Street tomorrow night, Tuesday, February 7th, from 5 to 8 p.m., and it is an open house style. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Stoner.
No report.
Mr. Fennell.
I just want to thank those who were able to attend the Smyrna Business Association luncheon. The Archbishop was very gracious in hosting at his facility, headquartered here in Smyrna, Georgia, and I want to thank those who participated, and I want to thank the Archdiocese for being a gracious host to us.
Thank you, and I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that the website for the Smyrna Comprehensive Plan Update is guidesmyrna.com. Again, this is the land use plan update that we do here in the city, and there are going to be ample opportunities for everyone in the city to participate, whether they would like to do it online or in person or at a public meeting. So, again, that website is guidesmyrna.com. Item 11 is show cause hearings. We have none tonight, so we're moving on to item 12, which is citizens input. And if you, Ms. Graham, who do we have signed up tonight? No one has signed up for citizens input? Okay, we have no one who has signed up tonight? Okay.
I'd like to be heard, if I might, and one of my friends saw me coming in. She asked me to sign up. I didn't see a sign-up sheet, so I believe.
All right.
Might it be heard?
Yes, you may. There is a 3-minute limit.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Gary Pelfrey. I am an attorney. I happen to represent the Cobb County SCLC, which is, in fact, one of the parties in the suit which Mr. Cochran has just mentioned. I'm not here to talk about that. I am here to see what I need to do to confirm what I believe the chair has agreed to put the facts of my email into the record. Is that correct?
That you're welcome to say whatever you'd like.
Is there something I need to do to further that?
No, we've received it, so it is part of the public record.
I would simply like to say that all the empty seats behind me are just evidence that this cover-up is continuing. Nobody in Smyrna, except the group there and me and one or two lawyers that wants to look it up, has any idea what 66-9.1E means. If you'd said it has to do with the constitutional issue to leaflet when you're talking about the death of Nicholas Thomas at the hands of a Smyrna policeman, then I believe you wouldn't have any empty seats behind me now. And I think that's on all of you now, because you have agreed to let such a notice come out and call it a public announcement. I apologize for bringing that kind of news to you, but I believe that's a fact. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry. I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has about this. Thank you for your time.
All right. I don't think there's anyone else signed up for public input tonight.
My error that I didn't sign her up.
Oh.
Good evening. Good
All right.
evening.
Please introduce yourself and let us know which city you live in.
My name is Alicia Newton, and I'm here with some of the Smyrna residents, and I'm here in concern about the kind of suppression of the information. I, like Gary, had no idea what that ordinance number was. If I had known it had anything to do with free speech and the ability for us to talk to our neighbors about the murder and cover-up of Nicholas Thomas's death, then we would have been here. And so I'm just asking for more transparency, because this is not going to just go away. So we're asking for your cooperation and to not put things on the record that's not clear to the community, because our community is very concerned about what has happened and continues to happen in the cover-up.
All right. There is no further public input. At this time, it is 8:10 p.m. I declare this meeting adjourned.